Do you ponder your mortality? Are you afraid of death?
So now they're in Joe Rogan's studio. So here's the mic that they used for the show. He pushed that aside, and here's his microphone. The exact same model. You can see they put it on a tabletop stand because Lexi's autistic. Watch this shit.
I do think about it sometimes. I mean, it does pop into my head sometimes. Just the fact that, I'm 53. So if everything goes great, I have less than 50 years left.
Well,
if everything goes great, like no car accidents, no injuries.
You know what I'm starting to realize? Joe Rogan is terrified of dying. He hasn't come to terms with the fact that people die. Like, he really wants to, go for the invincibility thing. And you know what? He's terrified that he's not going to fit in enough stuff before he dies. That's a fool's line of thinking. It's all relative. You fitting in more stuff is just going to kind of stress you out and make your schedule hectic. You don't need to fit in everything before you die. You don't need a bucket list. It doesn't matter. I promise. Now, can I prove it? No. But Joe is like a bucket list worrier, where he thinks he'd rather ditch his own kids to get in another activity before he dies than just just chill with his kids. Everything doesn't need to be this accomplishment. And what I've learned watching these little side interviews with Joe, he's, when he admits it too, he's so competitive. He's actually a crazy person. He's not a normal human being. He needs to compete. He must win. He must conquer. Wait till you hear this shit.
Just now, he was like, I only have 50 years left. It's you don't have 50 years. You're not going to be 100.
You're not going to be 100. And also,
you could die at any moment.
Exactly. And who cares? What are you worried about that? When you're 50 years old, you should be over the I want to live forever stage. That should be killed at 27. You start realizing, but not Joe. He's kind of a little kid who throws little tantrums and needs everything to be his way. I didn't really realize that. And that's what you're going to see today. And some of the stuff that's about to come out of his mouth. Here's a gore warning. It might make you sick. Listen to this.
But it could happen today. This could be your last day.
Could be.
That's kind of a stoic thing, to meditate on death. There's a bunch of philosophers, Ernest Becker and Sheldon Solomon. They believe that death is at the core of everything. Wrote this book, Warm at the Core. So does that come into play in the way you see the world?
Just beat him up. What kind of conversation? I would never let somebody like that talk to me like that. Jump the table and grab him and snap his neck. Otherwise, what is this shit? I got to show you this. 1310. Joe is not out of touch. Believe it or not, we've been wrong the whole time. Listen to this. What, 1310? I don't know why he's not killing him. Let's see this. 1310. This is some weird stuff.
You're easily definable.
Right. But there's truth to that. If you're not careful, you can become out of touch. But that's an interesting thing.
If you're not careful, you could become out of touch. You think Joe's been careful? If you're not careful, you could become out of touch, so they know how you can get there. But they don't think that they think that they're being careful. Let's hear this.
You can become out of touch. But that's an interesting thing. Why haven't you become out of touch? As a human off the podcast, you don't act like you talk to somebody like me. You don't talk like a famous person, or you don't act rich. Like you're better than others. There's a certain I've talked to quite a few. You have too, but I've talked to a especially kind of group of people that are Nobel Prize winners. Let's say they sometimes have an air to them that's.
Well, Lex, maybe they realized you were retarded and they're talking to you as if you're a dog. You ever think of that? How come you don't treat people like you're rich? Maybe these other people are treating you this way because they're like, oh, hello, Lex. Haha, gotta go. That's how you should be treated. This guy's got a whole, mess in his head of what's to be expected for him. You're very lucky, Lex, that you've even gotten this far.
Of arrogance.
Yeah.
and you don't. What's that about?
Well, you got to know what that is, right? Like that air of arrogance comes from drinking your own Kool-Aid. You start believing that somehow or another, just because you're getting praise from all these people, that you really are something different.
Wow, that kind of explains what I think about myself. But it's true, Let's hear more from Joe.
Usually, it exemplifies there's something there. Where there's a lack of struggle, and I think struggle is probably one of the most important balancing tools that a person can have. And for me, I struggle mentally and I struggle physically. I struggle mentally in that like we were talking about on the podcast we did previously, you and I on my podcast, that I'm not a fan of my work.
What?
I'm not a fan of what I do. I'm
that's
my
cool.
harshest critic. Yeah. So anytime anybody says something bad about me, I'm like, listen, I said way worse about myself.
So we're right then. So we're right, and we're not stupid retards who are on the verge of suicide, like you said the other day. I thought some people don't like change. We're all losers. I've never left a comment. Remember that? But now it's actually anything that we think you think worse. So why can't you give it up to us? Go, yes, you're spot on. It's actually worse, Mike. I'm actually shittier than Mike describes, but no. Bent Pixels owes me an apology.
I don't like anything I do.
Oh!
Oh,
thanks for selling it to us then. You don't like anything you do. Here's the Netflix special. And then you're going, oh my God. Wait, Joe is actually so bad at comedy. You know how he talks about how he goes home and he writes for 2 hours a day? And you're going, you write for 2 hours a day just to jump on a stool and tell us how Gollum is got a funny voice? And you watch his specials, you go, these are really bad. But he's writing for 2 hours a day. I think what happened is Joe got into comedy. He pretty much sucked at it, but couldn't take bombing and needed to be a winner. So he literally went home every night and wrote for 3 hours just to get the bare minimum so that he doesn't bomb, because he's so afraid of looking like shit. And he's actually devoted his entire life to this tremendous amount of, it's supposed to come naturally to you, and then you write it to organize it and make it better. It doesn't come naturally to Joe at all. But he entered this world of being a comedian, and it was a competitive gig where he had to be funnier than Brian Callen. He had to be funnier. He had to get a headline spot faster than this other guy in Boston. He had to get a special, and it became, just like jiu-jitsu, a competitive thing. But Joe couldn't be funny, so he was going to lose unless he wrote for 3 hours a day, and that's why he's driven to do this. He has no love for comedy. That's why he's not funny. You ever heard him be funny on a show? Never. So his specials are actually what it is if a non-funny person spent 72,000 hours crafting a joke, that's what his special would look like. So it's not admirable. It's actually quite insane. You ever looked at it like that? That's a derangement, folks. This is sicker than I thought. I hope you agree with me. All true.
Perspective. And I will continue to be that way, because that's the only way you can be good as a comedian. There's no other way. You can't just think you're awesome and just go out there. You have to be like picking apart everything you do.
No, you don't.
But there's a balance to that too, because you have to have enough confidence to go out there and perform.
And do it, yeah.
You can't think, oh my God, I suck. I know what I'm doing, but I know what I'm doing because I put in all that work. And one of the reasons why I put in all that work is
he thinks he sucks, but he knows what he's doing because he put in all that work. This is the complete opposite of how I work, by the way. I know I'm great, and I put in no work because it's just going to come out, okay? That's how it should be. Otherwise, we don't need a guy who's just doing a lot of work and then showing you the work he's done. Congratulations. That's the difference between somebody who gets an A in writing class and Stephen King. We want to hear what Stephen King has to say. He didn't just do the minimum to get the good grade, and it worked. It's technically a paper, right? No, we want art.
It's pretty crazy how naturally unfunny he is.
Yes.
Like, even people that people hate, like Nikki Glazer or like Whitney or whatever, at least you can tell that they're comedians.
Yes, well, that they're thinking comedically. Yes, Joe doesn't think comedically. His entire career in this has been a safer version of martial arts. He wants to compete without the CTE. He didn't want to get his head damaged. So we did it this way. Wow, Joe. Just despicable. And that's why you're in this red tube, none the wiser. Because you were never the wiser. You were the lucky. All right? You worked too hard. You outworked everybody. Congratulations. You know who outworks everybody? The fucking slave who built the railroad! And you think I give a shit about him? So, what we're witnessing here is somebody basically manipulated his way into comedy. And, think about all the people he's propped up along the way that have taken over comedy. All the real comedians have been pushed out by this gang based on a guy who can't even recognize what comedy is, hence Tom Segura, hence Tony Hinchcliffe, hence Andrew Santino. Thanks a lot.
Brendan Schaub.
Lock him up! Let's hear some more.
I don't like the end result most of the time. So
Wow.
I need to work at it all the time.
Wow.
And then there's physical struggle, which I think balances everything out. Without physical struggle, I always make the analogy that the body is in a lot of ways like a battery, where if you have extra charge, it's like it leaks out of the top and it becomes unmanageable and messy.
Really?
And that's how my psyche is. If
my God.
if I have too much energy, if I'm not exerting myself in a violent way, like
What?
an explosive way, like wearing myself out, I just don't like the way the world is. I don't like the
Whoa.
way I interface with the world. I'm
Really?
too tense. I'm too quick to be upset about.
So you're telling me if you don't wear yourself out like a dog, you start thinking negative thoughts. That's interesting. And people applaud each other for doing this. They don't applaud each other for avoidance, right? So how hey man, always take your issues on head on. Don't do avoidance. Don't take a drug to avoid your problems. But Joe Rogan is completely okay with working out till exhaust to avoid his problems. And he brags about it all the time. If I don't work out 7 hours a day, if I don't do all this, then I'll be mean, then I'll be... So you're basically taking a pill. I mean, working out all fucking just so you don't scream at somebody or blow up at your wife. You're sedating yourself just in a natural way. It's the same thing as taking a Xanax. It's the same thing as taking a pill or drinking yourself to sleep. That's what you're doing. Because you're fucked up. You're not normal. And not in a good way. Not in a way we admire. In a way that we fear. In a way that we want our money back, sir. They want to press charges. Stuff like that.
About things. But when I work out hard and I put in a brutal training session, everything's fine.
Well, the first time I talked to you
Wow.
on JRE, you were doing
Listen to this.
Sober October.
and there's something in your eyes.
Whoa.
Like I think you've talked about that you exercise the demons out essentially. So you exercise to get.
You shouldn't need to exercise the demons out. That's not a normal thing. Oh, I got all these demons, I've got a wife and a kid and all this money. Yeah, I got all these. What demons? That's the other thing, Joe. What demons? I'm trying to think. What demons do you have? What kind of secretive demons are you always exercising out? It's kind of troubling that you're always bringing up the demons that you got to get out. What are they about? What are these demons in regards to? That's troubling to me. And he just talks about it as if, oh, yeah, you know how we all have these things, like we want to do all this bad stuff. No.
Whatever the parts of you that you don't like out. There's a darkness in you there, like
Really?
the competitiveness and the focus of that person.
Listen,
That was a scary time in a lot of ways, that Sober October thing. Because my friends, we were all talking shit, right? Because we're competing against each other.
You shouldn't be friends with them. Those are open micers compared to you. You came into comedy 30 years before Tom. It's awkward looking that you guys, and they don't look at you like you're close. They look at you like, why is this guy being so nice to us? He's trying to molest us. He's trying to lure us in. They got the look. When they all sit around for Sober October, it's like the three of them are peers. And they were like, what is with this guy? He's like obsessed with
It's
us.
like when you go out for your Christmas dinner with your company and your boss is there with all of your other work friends and you're kind of hanging out.
Yeah,
but
to Joe, he's like, we're his best friends. What are you talking about? He keeps giving us these opportunities. I mean, I'll take it, but what the fuck? It's kind of weird.
Fitness challenges, and you had one
Listen
point
to this.
per, like you got a certain amount of points per each minute that you went at 80% of your max heart rate. And one day I got 1,100 points. So I did 7 hours on an elliptical machine watching the bathhouse scene from John Wick where he murders all those people in the bathhouse. I watched it probably 50 times in a row.
Okay. Nothing to laugh about here. He went on an elliptical machine for 7 hours and watched one scene from John Wick over 50 times. I won't even watch a scene from John Wick like within the film. I won't watch John Wick. I find it to be
too many tube lights.
Too many tube lights, too much shooting. You know, there's something wrong with you if you really want to watch that many men go down. Okay? You need to come to terms with why you need to see so many people die. So he's watching scenes from John Wick where they're killing thousands of chinks over and over again, and he's working out for 7 hours. Okay? This isn't a gag anymore. This isn't funny.
Points. So I did 7 hours on an elliptical machine watching the bathhouse scene from John Wick where he murders all those people in the bathhouse. I watched it probably 50 times in a row. I went crazy.
I went
crazy, but I went crazy in a weird way where it brought me back to my my fighting days.
Uh-oh.
It was like the same, that person came out again. It was like, well, I didn't even know he was in there.
Oh my God.
It's like they're like an assassin, like a killer. Like I felt like a different person.
TMI, go!
Toxic masculinity.
Really, dude?
You have an assassin in you that needs to come. I mean, this is real. You know, this isn't what we're all going through, bro. I hope. I really hope when I say this stuff, you know, you watch these people online. Oh, yeah, we all have anxiety and mental. No, we all don't. And if you do, bad, cuckoo. You know, and sometimes people come out and all these shows, you know why, like all the hosts of these shows are crazy people, because you would need to be an attention-seeking crazy person to want to do this. So our heads are being filled with this. Oh, yeah, we all take meds and we're all sick and fighting with our demons. We shouldn't be. Enough with it. By the time you're 25, you got to stop with the demons and depression and anxiety. Really, you're being babied through this by these men. Oh, yeah, we don't. My dad didn't have demons. I don't sit around with fucking demons. You just go out, you get some food, you relax. This isn't that hard. You're all rich. You know, how hard is this?
I felt like a different person.
Is it echoes of like what Mike Tyson talked about, essentially, like
maybe, but no orgasmic notions. All the crazy shit that he was saying.
But is there a violent person in there?
Oh yeah.
Listen.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Is there a violent person inside? Oh yeah. Why?
Don't tell us this also.
That's why it's like imagine if you said this to your dad and he's holding back a violent person. You need to stop podcasting for a week and go to the doctor. Imagine if somebody said, oh, I'm holding back a violent person. It is so close to see what's going to happen. Is it like when the thing in Ghostbusters busts open and all the ghosts get out? That's a lot. I don't want to be around a guy. That's like, you know, you can't even drive your car if the muffler's bad.
Can you
they give you a ticket.
The courtesy of showing us what happens live on air.
Yeah, I'm around this ticking
out?
time bomb here, and that's, oh yeah, you don't want to see what happens if I can't lift a kettlebell all day. What would happen?
Person.
Is it echoes of like what Mike
Take
Tyson
his
talked
guns,
about,
they
essentially,
say.
like
maybe, but no orgasmic notions. All the crazy shit that he was saying.
But is there a violent person in there?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of violence in me for sure. I don't
know. There's a lot of violence in me for sure. Could you imagine if I let out such a dark secret on a podcast? Oh, there's a lot of violence in me for sure. Against whom?
I
like
know,
who? I thought everyone talking about? The people who hate your set? I mean, we're the worst that you got. Everybody else loves you. There's not a person that walks by you that isn't, oh, Joe, I'm moving to Austin for you. Who's the violence targeted towards? Your wife? The swanger?
Oh, really, dude?
The arrestable daughter that you have that should be arrested just for looking a certain way? Who's the violence for? Me? I'm like the worst thing that you've got going on in your whole life. I can't imagine anything worse. So is it for me? Because if so, I'll see you in court.
If it's genetic or learned, or it's because during my formative years, from the time I was 15 till I was 22, all I did was fight. That was all I did.
Wow.
It was all I did. All I did was train and compete. That's all I did. That was my whole life.
Is it connected to, so your mom and dad broke up early on. Is it connected to the dad at all?
I'm sure it's connected to him also because he was violent and it made me feel very scared to be around him. But I also think it's connected.
Did daddy shove bone in your mouth? Imagine that. Joe Rogan just go, bam! Big boner right in that mouth by the dad. Swing! That's what I imagine. If your dad was cruel to you, a.k.a. you gave your dad a bunch of blowjobs, you sensual fag.
In who he was as a human is transferred into my DNA. You know, I think there's a certain amount of,
it's gay.
I mean, to be prejudiced against myself, I look like a violent person.
You look like a violent person. Okay.
You know, if I didn't know me, I'm just, even the way I'm built, not even just the working out part, just the size of my hands.
The size of your height. Okay.
You want the size of my hands.
Your hands are nothing. They're so tiny. The guy's 5'2". So, nobody's looking at you. We look at you and go, oh, you look like you shit your pants. Why is he walking? He's got like a midget walk. That's what we look at you. Like when we see a full picture of you with your jeans on that cover half your kid shoe, we go, look at this little butt putz. You know what I mean? You're always like just walking around like this. You're not scary.
He looks like he has the sorest back.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Your booty's popping out. You're looking like a little midge walking around, twisting around like a rock. Owen Benjamin tried to portray this to people because, dude, no one's afraid of Joe. Because people online are like, well, that's what you say, man. Joe Rogan could kill you. And Owen Benjamin was like, dude, no one's afraid of Joe Rogan. He's this little nutsack. Like, get back. It's like, yeah, I'm sure if he kicks me, it's going to hurt. But, like, if my dog bites my ankle, it's going to hurt. Get out of here. You get it out of here. Nobody's walking around afraid of my little dog. And nobody's walking around afraid of, come here, I'm going to kickbox you. Your kick, it's this long. Here's how to escape a Joe Rogan kick. I'm too far from you, sir. It's not that hard.
Well, he's got another move that he's going to use on you.
What's that?
You want to hear it?
Yeah, coming up.
2930.
2930. Listen to this. Look what Joe Rogan had to learn because he knew his kick. Yeah, if you kick a punching bag, that punching bag doesn't step backwards. Most human beings, you start winding up for a kick. They go, whoa! And now you're going to miss because the leg's this long.
All the guys at the jiu-jitsu place let him win.
Yeah, of course.
Nobody's beating Joe Rogan on a day that he feels like winning.
What's the time code here?
2930.
2930. And Owen's been nothing but a normal, nice guy. So listen to this. This is where things start getting very twisted. And Joe's going to describe what this is an obsession. I went to a jiu-jitsu studio while we were out looking for a house out west. I'll tell you this. Wasn't too impressed. They're inside of a strip mall. Did you know this? Every jiu-jitsu studio is next to a Safeway grocery store or around the corner from one in the same font place, the same style place. And then you walk in, you go, what would it take for a 32-year-old man to not only walk into this building, but actually sign up for a series of classes, paying, I don't know, $38 per session. It's probably way more. And to stand around with a bunch of other guys with your kimonos and your gis and literally listen to some man from a strip center tell you about a fighting style that is going to... And let me tell you something. You're not Joey Diaz. You're not doing jujitsu. Jamie Kilstein. You're not doing I could see if you had the body and build of a fighter and this is what you did. Similar to like imagine adults all going to like a legit, basketball class. It wouldn't make sense. Imagine Joey Diaz and all these people. You go, you're not a basketball player. Okay, look how you're built. This is crazy. But jiu-jitsu, all these people go. Of all ages, 40 years old. They're signing up because of Rogan. I mean, really, his influence. And it's almost like, do they think, if I do jiu-jitsu, and people know this about me, I'm not just this fat slob. He knows jiu-jitsu. He's willing to put in that work, or people are going to be impressed with me. Jamie Kilstein, it's this little tiny fucking 5'1" thing. It doesn't matter how much jiu-jitsu kicks you learn. You're not going to ever be good. And you're starting this at age 36. So you're going, do you just want people to go, whoa, maybe I have him all wrong. Maybe I have the wrong impression of him. He's doing jiu-jitsu. Because only somebody super dedicated to the sport would do such an act at that age. You'd have to be doing it your whole life. So it's almost like, and I think Joe List does jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. There's a type, and it's the fearful, and it's the weak, and it's the people who are actually physically weak that do this class the most, and they're not learning how to protect themselves. And by the way, when's the last time a nigga had to protect himself? Think about it. When's the last time you had to protect yourself? Unless you're some kind of fucking coke addict, burnout, psycho, like Jesse Pinkman, you don't have to protect yourself in today's day and age. It would be one thing
if it was like a girl learning jiu-jitsu who had to walk home alone from work just in case she crosses paths with Brian Callen.
I have talked shit to more human beings than Adolf Hitler. And I haven't had to protect my... You know how many times? You're fine. Anybody else is fine. Believe me. No one's kicking anyone's ass. Have you ever even seen a fight break out in the last 10 years? You'd have to go to a really shitty bar, and it happens. The only people that get into fights are when both guys want to get into a fight. There's not a fight where it's a guy like, dude, I don't want any trouble. I'm total. And they don't get in a fight. You're not going to get into a fight. So it's not about that. The people who are taking jiu-jitsu are either trying to impress Rogan, which is half the world, or you're 7. If you're 7 or 8, do a couple. Kids even took gymnastics in 7 or 8. I know they're not going to be Tanisha Kataro jumping on a balance beam. But to sit there and do Taekwondo at 30 and to just get into it, I'm sorry, it's not a good workout, Joey Diaz. You know how I know? Because look at you! It's not a good workout. It's an awful workout. Sitting there waiting in line to hi-ya another man for 3 seconds isn't a good workout. Yeah, sure, if you were doing it all fucking day. But what happens in these I might go undercover to a jiu-jitsu studio to see what is going on in there. Half the time, they're probably drinking little waters out of Dixie cups, conversing and lollygagging. You know, what is going on there? Do you bow to the sensei when you get your belt?
I just can't get past. Too much. I even would probably allow it if it was like boxing or something. Yes. But the hugging and like pressing your body.
Well, there's that. I haven't even got into that. The whole and then, so not only do you have to drive, you have to get up in the morning. You get in your car alone. You're wearing a gi. Something out of a video game or a comic. You can't even believe it. You're Joey Diaz. You're 78 years old. You're a heaping mess. You're coughing all over your Elantra. And you pull up to the strip center. You give that guy a $175 check, and I swear I'll have the payment for next month in. And then you get in line with a bunch of other random students of all different ages, and you're all sitting there barefoot listening to the instructor out of the strip. By the way, you could smell the Baskin Robbins coming from next door.
The Subway onion smell.
The Subway.
You know, that onion smell?
Yeah. And then you're sitting there and you're listening. And what's the class run for? 35 minutes? And then what? You wait in line to like wrestle a guy. And then the whole thing leads up to you pressing yourself as hard as you can against another guy. I don't know what must be going on in your head to want that. I really can't. I mean, I look at it, year after year goes by, I reassess, I re-go over it. I can't tell. Somebody please tell me what kind of psychotic thing you're getting out of this. I'm telling you, if you need this in your life, if you find it fulfilling, you got a hole in your head. You got a hole. And you're allowing these other psychos to make you think this is a normal thing to do. It's not normal. It's not cool. It's not a good workout. Doesn't teach you anything. It's sick. Wait till you hear what Joe does. Here at 29:30.
You bet.
You're going to die.
Not with the rubber guard, but the way you move your body is you're
cheers
like a Shanji type of guy who knows how to control another human being. So like some people are a little bit more, I would say, agile and like playful and kind of loose and they work on transition. You're a control guy. Like you know how to control position and advanced position. Danaher is the same way. He's all about control.
My game is smush. That's my game.
Okay. My game is smush. I'm all about control. Why? Why must you control another man? I'm telling you, this is sick. You're going into, when you actually think about what these men are doing, and remember, it's, if there were some prize in it, if it weren't for money, maybe I could even see, but they want to smush. They must feel another man collapse within their arms. There's something in them that this needs to be done daily. They need to be the ones doing it, administering these things to men. And his thing is smush. Wait till you hear what smush is.
Smush you. Grab a hold of you. Once I have you, why would I let you go? That's my thought.
I don't know, because he's not yours. Get off of him. Once I have you, why would I let you go? I don't know, because you snap out of it and you go, what have I done? And you go, oh, I'm so sorry. Please. I don't know what I'm thinking. That's why. You shouldn't be. And any man who's convincing themselves of doing these things, I'm telling you, something's completely off. Smush. Imagine if I, laid this out for you. Oh, you should see what I do. Imagine if I did this and I didn't do this. It wasn't jujitsu. I just did this to Jules. It's fucking sick. And it gets worse. Listen to this.
Smush you. Grab a hold of you. Once I have you, why would I let you go? That's my thought, is like, why would I let you go? I just want to incrementally move to a better position until I can strangle you.
What? Until you can what? Until I can strangle you. It's not good enough. No. I need you to stop being able to get air. It's the only way I could go home to my kids without killing them. And this guy is not, it's not a good old friend. He doesn't know the guy. They don't have like a vendetta. It's just a man who wants to get their air strangled out of them. Why would you volunteer for that? Imagine going up against somebody whose agenda is this. Just very odd. Why not? I don't understand. Is having lunch out at a good restaurant not entertaining enough? That's not enough?
You can go to any restaurant.
Just go to a restaurant. Get a steak.
You could go breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I need to take the air out of a person. Listen to this. And really listen. You got to stop with MMA.
Smush you. Grab a hold of you. Once I have you, why would I let you go? That's my thought, is like, why would I let you go? I just want to increment.
There's guys in the chat. It's fun. Jiu-jitsu rules. BJJ. Do you understand? You're sick. Well, I'm trying to tell you, you're sick.
The next time
you're saying it's fun. This would be like if I was telling, hey, you can't rape people. And there were just some guys. It's fun, though. It's fun. You wouldn't dare. You're on that level. You just don't know it yet. What you're admitting to should be a tightly kept secret. Okay? This is a sick fetish. It's not fun. It's fun to you. You've got a fetish, a sickness that we allow right now mistakenly. The only reason you're allowed to even admit to this is because we're in this stupidity session still where we think any athletic endeavor is noble. It's not. You're gross. You're sick.
The next time they're squishing up against a guy, they're going to be thinking about this.
No, they won't. They're so stupid. If you do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're fundamentally crooked to begin with. You'll never understand anything that I'm ever saying. You're lost. You're one beneath what I feel is normalcy, okay? And I know that there's a ton of people who do this too. They're also subnormal, and you're part of the crew of people that aren't ready to evolve. This is what we're stuck because of people like you. I bet. Here's more.
Mentally move to a better position until I can strangle you. But I'm much more into strangling people than anything else.
Yeah, which is a great MMA approach for jiu-jitsu.
Well, too many people don't tap when you get their arms, and I'm not opposed to arm bars. I love arm bars, but everybody goes to sleep.
Yeah. Everybody goes to sleep. Imagine this. Not since the Tooth Fairy has somebody been so excited in multiple people being sleeping. Sleep creep. Listen to this.
And quit from pressure too. I mean,
Yikes.
Quit mentally, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's nothing like
you can't breathe. If you got a guy who's like a really good top game guy and he mounts you, and I'm a big fan of mounting.
And he mounts you. And listen, the gay jokes are saying those are easy. This is worse than being gay. At least being gay, you get to fucking shoot out a bunch of jizz and you're high as fuck and you're on lewds and you're on all this shit. And you're actually gay. These people are doing worse than a gay act. These are the same people who have two gay guys who are just holding hands at Universal Studios, City Walk. Oh, God, you're going to do that in public. Oh, it's disgusting. And you're pushing yourself into another man.
I don't even mean that in a gay way. It's like when you were at your family Christmas, did you love giving your aunt a hug and her holding
touching
you?
another person
it's just
should
the
be
touching that is
there's
a
something
stranger,
about it.
And
I'm
you're
telling you,
right in his butt cheeks.
This needs to be looked into. Whatever this BJJ thing is I guarantee you they're going to find out. You don't want to be on the receiving end of psychology one day. All right. And just because technology isn't there yet doesn't mean it won't be. So how about don't do things that probably will be looked at as fucking insane within 5 years once we just dial it down a little bit. All right. Don't do those things. Just go, you know what? Do I really need to be doing this? Can you do it in private at least? It's sick. I don't sit around telling you what I jack off to. Doing this Brazilian jiu-jitsu and publicly going, I love choking a man and watching him sleep. That's the same thing as describing to me what gets you off. Oh, I love seeing two dads exchange their daughters and then look at their daughters midway into the sex. It's sick. Can't do that with your family. Listen to this. This gets worse.
With my legs crossed, like a guard. Like a top guard. And so I can squeeze with both legs.
Wow.
Smush. And I'm just looking for people to make mistakes and slowly, incrementally bettering my position until I can get something locked up.
You just described Red Bar. I'm just looking for people to make mistakes and then slowly but surely incriminate them and make sure. Yeah. So you're allowed to do that. Look at his face. He's allowed to do that, but I do it. I'm some psycho hater. Okay? You're pretzeling men until they can't breathe.
And slowly, incrementally bettering my position until I can get something locked up.
Jesus.
I love jiu-jitsu though, man. I just wish it didn't injure you.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is like, if your joints were more durable, if they could figure out a way to make joints more durable. God, I could do jiu-jitsu forever.
Wow.
Yeah. So much fun.
It's so much fun, just like that guy in our chat. It's just so much fun. I want to do it forever. You might be gay. It really could be gay alpha tough guys who are afraid to admit they're gay. I mean, there's tons of them. Really. I think, gay might not be a minority thing. What if half of everyone was gay?
Could be.
And most people most guys, you tell them they're gay. Sorry. I'm not going to accept that. I will do anything I can to not be gay. Trust me. Most guys. If you think a guy's gay, he's gay. Tony Hinchcliffe is gay. Steven Crowder's gay. We all know this. But these guys are so hard-headed, there's no way they're going to be a fucking dick-sucking faggot. I mean, think about how open and cool you would have to be actually be one of life's faggots. Look, seriously. It's a big label. Let's say you're born gay, but you're hey, listen, I'm gay. I want to do what my body tells me to do, but I don't want to be this fucking fag gay. Like, it's not the time. So I think there are a lot of guys out there who, from day one, have been just, they close the door to that gay thing so quick that it's not even in their conscious mind. Really. And maybe it comes out in these ways where it's so fun rolling with this man all day. It's so fun. Maybe it's so fun because this is where you're truly supposed to be in life. You know? Because to me, a straight person, I can't think of anything that sounds worse. I mean, that to me, it sounds torturous to touch another man in any way, shape, or form. So to want to do that, it's so fun. So fun. This could be a sign. It definitely could. Or if you're one of these guys, like, who's this other guy that's clearly gay, who's like pretending not to be gay? And he's like, so, like, if you talk like this and you're like, hey, you're gay. Come on already with this, you know? But think about how hard it would be to admit. Being gay is one thing. Admitting to being gay, and you watch, man, Todd Glass kept it a secret for 50 years. Believe me. For every gay that there is, there's probably 3 right, under their little feetsies, hiding and scurrying away. So, I don't know, guys. BJJ is fun. Is it that fun that you want people to think you're gay? It's time to make a change. Got to start hiding it better.
I talked to this roboticist, Russ Tedrick. He builds, he's one of the world-class people that builds humanoid robots. You were interested in Boston Dynamics.
Okay, that's the end of that. It's sad to see him go. The Strangler, everybody. Remember? Didn't we used to call him? Yes. No, that's Kumia.
No, we did call Joe the Strangler, didn't we?
Yeah, they're both stranglers. Listen, no strangling. Called
him the choker. Or
yes,
something
the choker.
Like that.
Yeah. Guys, there's no strangling. There's no hitting. There's no putting people to sleep.